The rising sun bathed Manhattan's skyscrapers in a golden glow, reflected in the endless glass windows like an urban kaleidoscope. Anna Silveira, at the age of 35, watched the city wake up from the 50th floor of her office on Park Avenue. Her brown eyes, sharp as the steel she molded in her designs, swept across the horizon she had helped draw. "How many floors do you think a dream can endure before it collapses?" The question echoed in his mind, a persistent voice that not even the constant noise of the metropolis could muffle. Anna adjusted the impeccably cut blazer, feeling the expensive fabric against her skin. Every detail of his appearance was meticulously planned, as were the buildings he designed. Black hair pulled back into a sleek bun, subtle makeup highlighting her Latin features, designer shoes echoing against the marble floor as she walked to her desk. The room was a testament to his success. Design awards lined glass shelves, mock-ups of his most acclaimed projects, occupied strategically placed pedestals. On the wall opposite his desk, a giant screen displayed 3D renderings of his latest challenge, a revolutionary skyscraper that promised to redefine Dubai's skyline. Anna allowed herself a moment of pride. After all, it wasn't every day that a Brazilian immigrant conquered the top of the architectural world in New York. She remembered the 12-year-old girl who had arrived in the United States with her parents, full of dreams and determination. The nights, studying English, the summers working in cafeterias to save for college, the countless hours drawing and redesigning projects to exhaustion. Now, at 35, she was the youngest partner in the city's most prestigious architecture firm. Its name was synonymous with innovation, sustainability, and bold design. Architecture magazines emblazoned her face on glossy covers. TV shows invited her to talk about the future of cities. Anna turned on her computer, preparing for another day of meetings, conference, calls, and decisions that would shape the future of cities around the world. As she waited for the system to start, her eyes landed on a small framed photo on the table, her and her parents smiling in front of the Statue of Liberty on the day they arrived in the United States. A lump formed in his throat. When was the last time you saw them? The weekly calls had become monthly, then occasional. There was always an urgent project, an unpostponable trip, an important client. The distance, once geographical, now seemed insurmountable. The intercom rang, bringing her back to reality. "Miss Helena Sanchez. Silveira, your first meeting starts in 15 minutes. Conference room A. Thank you, Melissa. I'll be there in 10. Anna replied, her voice firm and professional. As she was organizing her notes, Anna felt a familiar twinge in her stomach. Stress? Probably. Anxiety? Certainly. But there was something else. A void that no grandiose project or robust bank account could fill. She remembered the conversation she had had with her best friend, Sophia, the night before. Between glasses of expensive wine and forced laughter, Sophia had asked, "Anna, are you happy?" The question took her by surprise. Happy? Of course he was happy. He had everything he had ever dreamed of. The penthouse overlooking Central Park, the closet full of designer clothes, the first-class trips to exotic destinations. But why, then, did he feel so empty? The day passed like a well-rehearsed symphony of compromises and decisions, meetings with investors, heated discussions with engineers, tense phone calls with suppliers. Anna navigated all of this with the precision of a conductor, her sharp mind anticipating problems and proposing solutions before they even arose. At 9 p.m., when he finally left the office, the city pulsated with his signature nighttime energy. Twinkling lights, impatient horns, the aroma of street food mixed with the expensive perfume of hurried passers-by. Anna got into her Tesla Model S, a gift she had given herself after winning the contract for the project in Dubai. Traffic was chaotic, even by New York standards. An accident on Fifth Avenue had turned the adjacent streets into a maze of metal and frustration. Anna sighed, resigned to a long wait. His fingers drummed impatiently on the steering wheel, while his mind went over the endless to-do list for the next day. It was then that it happened. Like a whisper in the midst of chaos, a soft melody emerged from the car's speakers. Anna didn't remember turning on the radio, but something in that song prevented her from turning it off. Jesus at the center of it all. Jesus at the center of it all, from beginning to the end. It will always be. It's always been you, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Israel Houghton's sweet and powerful voice filled the interior of the car, creating a surreal contrast to the urban cacophony outside. Anna felt something move inside her, as if a long-forgotten string vibrated in resonance with those simple but profound words. Long-suppressed memories began to surface. The small church in the Brazilian neighborhood of Queens, where her parents took her as a child. The smell of coffee and sweet bread after Sunday services. The feeling of belonging, of being part of something bigger than yourself. When had she lost that? At what point did his ambitions and dreams become walls so high that even faith could not climb? The song ended, but its effect persisted. Anna came home with her mind in turmoil. Her penthouse apartment, normally a haven of luxury and tranquility, seemed strangely cold and impersonal. She walked to the balcony, feeling the cold winter wind against her face. The city stretched below, a carpet of lights and shadows. How many lives were unfolding at that very moment? How many souls were looking for meaning, purpose, connection? Anna picked up her smartphone, her fingers hesitating on the screen. Before he could contain himself, he was dialing a number he hadn't called in months. Hello? His mother's voice, sleepily but instantly alert, crossed the line. Mom? Anna felt her voice fail. I'm sorry. For everything. What followed was a long and emotional conversation. Tears were shed, promises were made. When she finally hung up, Anna felt exhausted, but strangely light. That night, lying in her king-size bed with Egyptian cotton sheets, Hannah did something she hadn't done in years. She prayed. It was not an elaborate or eloquent prayer. It was a simple cry for help, an acknowledgement that, for all her success, she was lost. The days that followed were a roller coaster of emotions and discoveries. Anna began to question every aspect of her life, every decision that had brought her there. She didn't abandon her job or her dreams, but began to seek a long-lost balance. On a sunny Sunday, she surprised herself by entering the small church of her childhood in Queens. The familiar smell of coffee and the warm welcome from the community enveloped her like a long-awaited hug. Hannah began to rediscover her faith, not as a set of rigid rules, but as a living, dynamic relationship. She learned to see Jesus not just as a historical figure or an abstract concept, but as a real, life-changing presence in her life. His work took on a new dimension. Projects that were once just about aesthetics and functionality now incorporated elements of community, sustainability, and purpose. Anna began to use her talent and influence for social projects, creating spaces that not only impressed, but that truly improved people's lives. A year after that fateful night in traffic, Anna was back in her office on the 50th floor. The view was still breathtaking, but now she saw it with different eyes. Every building, every street, every person down there was part of a larger design, a divine plan that she now felt a part of. On his desk, next to the awards and models, there was now a small plaque with the verses that changed his life. Jesus at the center of it all. It was a daily reminder that true success was not measured in floors or prizes, but in the constant presence of Jesus in your heart. Anna smiled, feeling a peace that transcended understanding. She had discovered that the highest and most stable dream one can build is one that has Jesus as its foundation, structure, and top. And this was a skyscraper that would never collapse. The rising sun found Anna still hunched over her laptop, eyes tired but bright with a new light of determination. She had spent the whole night immersed in a world that, until then, had been completely foreign to her. Preaching videos, articles on theology, discussion forums on faith, each click took her deeper on a journey of self-discovery. Anna stood up, feeling her body protest against the sleepless night. He walked to the window, watching the city wake up. The first rays of sunlight tinged the skyscraper's gold, creating a spectacle of light and shadow that she had never really enjoyed before. For the first time in years, Anna felt a deep connection to something bigger than herself. Determined not to let that feeling slip away, Anna did something unthinkable. She canceled all her meetings for the day. Melissa, his assistant, almost fell out of her chair when she received the call. But Miss Helena Sanchez? Silveira, the meeting with Dubai investors? Reschedule for tomorrow, Melissa. Today I need to take care of an urgent personal matter. Anna hung up the phone, feeling a mixture of anxiety and release. She knew exactly where she needed to go. The subway to Queens was packed, as usual. Anna, accustomed to the comfort of her Tesla, felt strangely comforted by the familiarity of the scene. Weary faces, the metallic clatter of the tracks, the occasional street musician. It all reminded her of her early years in New York, when every penny saved was a victory. He got off at Jackson Heights Station, the heart of the Brazilian neighborhood. The aroma of fresh bread and strong coffee hit her like a wave of nostalgia. He walked through the familiar streets until he came to a small red brick church, almost hidden among the shops and restaurants. Brazilian Baptist Church of New York. The simple sign above the door seemed to invite her in. Anna hesitated at the entrance, her heart pounding. What if someone recognized her? What if they asked questions she couldn't answer? He took a deep breath, remembering the words he had read the night before. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. With a determined step, she entered. The interior of the church was simple but welcoming. Wooden benches, colorful stained glass windows, a small altar in front. Anna sat on the last bench, trying to go unnoticed. Anna Silveira? A familiar voice made her freeze. Turning slowly, she found herself face to face with Pastor John, the same man who had led the church during her childhood. Pastor John, she murmured, surprised to see how he had aged but still kept the same warm smile. How long, my daughter? Nice to see you back, he said, sitting down next to her. Something tells me it's not just a social visit. Anna felt the tears welling up in her eyes. Pastor, I don't know where to start. For hours, Anna poured out her heart to Pastor João. He talked about his professional success, the emptiness he felt, the music he had heard in the car, the night of research. The pastor listened attentively, occasionally asking gentle questions that led her to reflect more deeply. Anna, he said finally, you have built an impressive life, but it looks like you've forgotten about the main architect. He opened his worn-out Bible to Psalm chapter 127, verse 1. Unless the Lord builds the house, in vain do those who build it labor. The words struck Anna like a ray of clarity. All her life she had striven to build something great, but she had neglected the most important foundation. How can I start over, Pastor? She asked, her voice trembling with excitement and anticipation. Pastor John smiled, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. My dear, you have already taken the first step by coming here today. Now let's explore together how to put Jesus at the center of everything. As she left the church hours later, Anna felt as if she had just woken up from a long sleep. The world around him seemed more alive, more full of possibilities. He picked up his phone, ignoring the dozens of unread work messages, and opened the Notes app. With trembling fingers with emotion, he began sketching out a new blueprint, not of a skyscraper or shopping complex, but of a rebuilt life with Jesus as its foundation. Jesus at the center of it all, Jesus at the center of everything from beginning to end, always will be, always been, you Jesus, oh Jesus. For the first time in years, Anna Silveira felt that she was on the right path to building something truly eternal. Sunday dawned with a different energy. Anna, used to using her weekends to advance projects or catch up on sleep loss during the week, felt strangely anxious. She spent more time than usual choosing her outfit, opting for something simple but elegant, a navy blue dress that she rarely wore outside of professional occasions. As she got ready, Anna reflected on the week that had passed. Ever since the night she heard Jesus at the center, she had been on a journey of self-discovery. He had read passages from the Bible, watched testimony videos, and even downloaded a daily devotional app. Each new piece of information seemed to open up a universe of possibilities and questions. At 9:30 sharp, the bell rang. Clara, radiant as always, embraced Anna with genuine affection. "I'm so glad you decided to come," exclaimed Clara, her eyes shining with excitement. During the drive to church, Clara spoke animatedly about the community, the pastor, the Bible study groups. Anna listened attentively, absorbing every detail, feeling a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. The Church of Renewed Grace was not what Anna expected. Far from the austere and traditional image she had in mind, the building was modern, with large glass windows and a contemporary design that pleased her eye as an architect. As they entered, they were greeted by warm smiles and friendly handshakes. Anna noted the diversity of the group: young professionals, families, the elderly, people of different ethnicities. Everyone seemed genuinely happy to be there. The lights dimmed and a band took the stage. The sound of the instruments filled the room, and soon the congregation was on their feet, singing and worshiping. Anna, initially shy, found herself enveloped by the energy of the moment. "Jesus, be the center of my life, Jesus. Be the center of my life, from beginning to the end. It will always be. It's always been you. Jesus. Oh, Jesus." The familiar melody of Jesus at the center resonated, and Anna felt tears well up in her eyes. It was as if the music spoke directly to her soul, echoing the longing she had carried for so long. The pastor, a middle-aged man with a gentle smile, began his preaching. Its theme, building on the right foundation. "Many of us," he said, "have spent our lives building impressive towers, careers, relationships, achievements. But if we don't build on the right foundation, these towers can collapse at the slightest tremor." Anna felt as if the pastor was speaking directly to her. Each word seemed to illuminate a dark corner of his soul. "Jesus doesn't want to be just a part of our lives," the pastor continued. "He wants to be the center, the foundation on which we build everything else." At the end of the message, the pastor made an invitation. If you are here today, feeling that something is missing in your life, if you want to know this Jesus who can be the center of everything, I invite you to come forward. Let's pray together. Anna felt her heart race. Part of her wanted to stay in her place, hidden and safe, but a greater force impelled her to get up. With trembling legs, she stepped forward. Then another, and another. Before he knew it, he stood before the altar, tears running freely down his cheeks. The pastor approached, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Anna," she replied, her voice choked with emotion. "Anna," the pastor smiled. "Welcome to God's family." As the pastor prayed for her, Hannah felt something break inside her. Years of self-sufficiency, of trying to fill the void with conquests and possessions, have crumbled like a sandcastle. In its place came a sense of peace and purpose that she had never experienced. When she opened her eyes, Anna saw Clara smiling at her, tears of joy in her eyes. Around him, members of the congregation approached to welcome him, offering hugs and words of encouragement. At that moment, Anna knew that her life would never be the same again. The void that tormented her was beginning to be filled by something bigger, deeper, and more enduring than any skyscraper she had ever designed. "From my heart to the heavens, Jesus be the center, it's all about you, yes. It's all about you." The Sunday of the Revelation marked not the end, but the beginning of a new journey. A journey of faith, growth, and discovery, with Jesus at the center of it all. Anna arrived home that night with her mind bubbling with ideas and her heart full of emotions. The luxurious apartment, which had once been her refuge and symbol of success, now seemed a silent testimony to a life built on shaky foundations. Sitting in her favorite armchair, overlooking the illuminated city, Hannah opened the Bible that Claire had given her. His eyes rested again on Philippians chapter 3, verses 7 to 11. Paul's words echoed in her mind, challenging everything she had cherished until then. I count all things as loss compared with the supreme good of knowing Christ Jesus. Anna reflected on her own life. The architecture awards, the sturdy bank accounts, the professional prestige, everything seemed to lose its luster in the face of the promise of truly knowing Christ. The next morning, Anna arrived at the office with a new perspective. His critical eye was now not limited to architectural projects alone, but extended to the very structure of his professional life. During an important meeting about a new skyscraper in Dubai, Anna found herself questioning the purpose of the project. Are we just building another monument to the human ego, or can we create something that actually benefits people? She asked, surprising her colleagues. His new approach did not go unnoticed. Some looked at her with admiration, others with skepticism. Hannah knew she was treading on unfamiliar ground, but she felt an inner conviction that propelled her forward. Encouraged by Clara, Anna began attending a Bible study group for young professionals. There she found people who, like her, sought to balance their faith with the demands of the corporate world. During one of these meetings, the group discussed Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Seek, therefore, first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Anna shared her struggles. How can I put God first when my work demands so much from me? How do you balance the pursuit of professional success with spiritual growth? The responses from his new friends were encouraging and practical. They talked about integrity in business, using talents to glorify God, and finding ways to serve others through work. 1. She began each day with a time of prayer and Bible reading, seeking divine guidance for her decisions. 2. In her projects, she began to prioritize sustainable design and spaces that promoted community and well-being. 3. Anna began to donate part of her income to social causes, discovering the joy of using her resources to bless others. 4. She has made time in her hectic schedule for volunteering, using her architectural skills to help with social housing projects. The real proof came when Anna was invited to lead a multi-million-dollar project that promised to catapult her career to new heights. The only problem? The project involved questionable ethical practices and potential environmental damage. Anna spent sleepless nights, struggling with the decision. The old self screamed to accept the opportunity, but her new faith challenged her to stay true to the principles she was learning. After much prayer and counseling with her Bible study group, Hannah made a courageous decision. She turned down the project. To his surprise, the refusal did not mark the end of his career, as he had feared. On the contrary, her integrity impressed a key client, who specifically sought her out to lead an innovative, sustainable urban development project. Hannah watched in wonder as God was redirecting her career in ways she could never have imagined. The verse in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 has taken on new meaning in his life. Months after that transformative Sunday, Anna looked back and barely recognized the person she used to be. His life, once centered on personal achievements, now revolved around a new axis, Jesus Christ. She was still a talented and successful architect, but now she saw her work as an extension of her faith, a way to glorify God and serve others. At night, contemplating the city from the top of her apartment, Anna smiled. She was building something much bigger and more enduring than skyscrapers. I was building a life with eternal foundations, with Jesus at the center of everything. And as the song Jesus at the Center played softly in the background, Anna gave thanks for the journey that had just begun, eager to see what new projects, both architectural and spiritual, God had in store for her. Anna's transformation did not go unnoticed in the corporate world. Her colleagues and clients noticed a significant shift in her approach to projects and the way she conducted business. Some admired her, others questioned her, but all recognized that something profound had changed. One day, during an important board meeting, Anna surprised everyone with a bold proposal. "Gentlemen," she began, her voice firm but gentle, "I propose that our company adopt a new philosophy of work, one that not only seeks profit, but also promotes social well-being and environmental sustainability. I believe we can be leaders not only in innovative design, but also in corporate social Responsibility. The silence that followed was broken by the CEO, Mr. Thompson, a man known for his rigidity in business. Miss Helena Sanchez. Silveira, I understand your enthusiasm, but we are here to do business, not charity. Hannah took a deep breath, remembering Jesus' words in Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 to 16. You are the light of the world, so let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. With renewed confidence, she replied, Mr. Thompson, I am not proposing charity. I am proposing excellence. Imagine the positive impact we could have if each of our projects not only impressed visually, but also genuinely improved people's lives and the environment. This would not only differentiate us in the market, but also attract customers and investors who share these values. To Anna's surprise, her proposal was accepted, albeit with some skepticism. She was tasked with leading a pilot project that would integrate the new values she championed. Thus was born the Light of the World project, a residential and commercial complex that would be built in a needy area of the city. Anna dove headfirst into the challenge, drawing inspiration not only from modern architectural concepts, but also from the biblical principles of community, stewardship, and compassion. 1. Affordable and well-designed apartments for low-income families. 2. Commercial spaces for small local entrepreneurs. 3. A community center with educational and job training programs. 4. Green areas and a rainwater harvesting system. 5. Solar panels and other sustainable technologies to reduce energy consumption. Hannah worked tirelessly, praying for wisdom and divine guidance at every turn. She assembled a diverse team, including engineers, social workers, and community leaders, to ensure that the project truly met the needs of the community. The path was not easy. Anna faced resistance from skeptical colleagues, government, bureaucracies, and technical challenges. There were times when she was tempted to give up, to go back to the lucrative and hassle-free projects she had before. On a particularly difficult night, after a day of frustrating meetings and setbacks on the project, Anna knelt in her office and prayed, Lord, if this is the path you want me to take, please give me strength. Help me to be light in this world, even when the darkness seems so dense. That same night, she received an unexpected email. It was from a young architect who had recently graduated and had heard about the Light of the World project. The message read, Miss Helena Sanchez, Silveira, your project inspired me to pursue a career in architecture. Seeing someone using their talents to make a difference in the world gave me hope. I would love to be part of your team, even if it's as an unpaid intern. Anna felt the tears run down her face. She realized that her light, even if small, was already making a difference. After 2 years of hard work, challenges, and miracles, the Light of the World project was inaugurated. What was once a rundown area of the city now shone like a beacon of hope and transformation. On the opening day, Anna was thrilled to see families entering her new apartments, children running through the manicured gardens, and small entrepreneurs opening the doors of their stores for the first time. Mr. Thompson, who had initially been skeptical, now smiled broadly beside him. Miss Helena Sanchez, Silveira, you didn't just build a complex, you built a community, and I must admit, our return on investment exceeded all expectations. Anna smiled, knowing that the real return went far beyond the financial numbers. She had been true to the call to be light, and now she saw the glow of that light reflected on the faces of those who had been touched by the project. The success of the Light of the World project opened doors for Anna to implement her vision on an even larger scale. She has been invited to speak at universities, sharing her vision of an architecture that not only builds structures, but transforms lives. Young architects, inspired by his example, began to look for ways to integrate faith and profession, using their talents to make a difference in the world. Anna knew that her journey was far from over. There was still much work to be done, many lives to be touched, much light to be scattered. But she moved forward with confidence, knowing that she was fulfilling the purpose for which she had been created. Every night before going to sleep, Anna looked out the window of her apartment, contemplating the city she loved so much. And instead of seeing only concrete and steel, she saw infinite possibilities to be salt and light, to build the kingdom of God, one project at a time. Jesus, she whispered, continue to be the center of everything. Use me to illuminate this world with your love. And so, the architect of the kingdom fell asleep, dreaming of the projects that the great architect had reserved for her the next day. The rising sun cast long shadows over the skyscrapers of New York, creating a play of light and darkness that seemed to reflect Anna Silveira's inner conflict. Sitting in her 50th floor office, the successful architect gazed at the city she had helped shape, her gaze lost on the horizon as her hands absent-mindedly caressed the leather cover of her Bible. Anna had come a long way since that fateful night when Jesus at the center echoed in her car, triggering a profound transformation in her life. His testimony of faith had become a beacon of hope to many, a building of grace erected on the unshakable foundation of his renewed faith. The change in Anna was not only spiritual, but tangible in every aspect of her professional life. His architectural designs, previously focused solely on aesthetics and profit, now incorporated elements that promoted social well-being and environmental sustainability. She had become known not only for her exceptional talent, but also for her unwavering integrity and her commitment to worthy causes. Yet on that Thursday morning, Hannah was faced with a challenge that threatened to shake the very foundations of her newfound faith. On his hardwood work table, a sealed envelope awaited his attention, its contents promising both opportunity and conflict. With a deep sigh, Anna finally opened the envelope. Inside, he found the details of a project that would make any ambitious architect salivate. A luxury entertainment complex with gleaming casinos and exclusive nightclubs to be built in one of the city's most noble and coveted areas. The 3D renderings were breathtaking. Towers of glass and steel rose majestically, their shimmering facades reflecting the lights of the city. The interior promised to be a haven of opulence, with rare marbles, priceless artwork, and state-of-the-art technology in every square inch. Anna couldn't help but admire the beauty and ingenuity of the design. It was the kind of project that could define an architect's career, putting his name in the annals of modern architectural history. It was a golden opportunity, the kind that comes up once in a lifetime. But as her eyes scanned the technical specifications and financial details, Anna felt a knot form in her stomach. Casinos, clubs, exclusive bars. All of this went against the values she now embraced, against the testimony she had been so carefully building. Hannah closed her eyes, remembering the words of Matthew 16:26, "For what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul?" These words, which had previously seemed distant and abstract, now echoed in his mind with painful relevance. Anna's internal conflict was palpable. On the one hand, the professional ambition that had propelled her to the top of her career whispered tantalizingly, painting images of recognition, prestige, and even greater success. On the other, her newfound faith reminded her of the commitment she had made to put God at the center of all her decisions. Anguished, Anna fell to her knees right there in her office, her hands clasped in fervent prayer. "Lord," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks, "show me the way. Give me the strength to make the right choice, whatever it may be." In the days that followed, Hannah sought counsel everywhere. She talked at length with her pastor, a wise man who gently reminded her that sometimes God puts us in difficult situations to strengthen our faith and use us as instruments of His will. Her friends in the Bible study group prayed with her, offering words of encouragement and reminding her to rely on divine guidance. Clara, her closest friend, hugged her tightly and said, "Anna, remember who you are now. Remember the one who lives in you." As she struggled with her decision, Anna began to feel that there was something more to this project, something that went beyond the obvious moral conflict. It was as if a Shadow hung over the entire enterprise, a subtle darkness that she could not define, but that disturbed her deeply. Moved by this intuition, Anna began to discreetly investigate the backstage of the project. He asked cautious questions, analyzed documents with a more critical eye, sought information about the investors behind the venture. What she discovered left her cold. Fragments of information, when united, formed a disturbing picture. There were rumors of links to criminal organizations, whispers about money laundering, insinuations of corruption in the upper echelons of the municipal government. Anna realized that she was facing something much bigger and more dangerous than a simple moral dilemma. The design of the entertainment complex was just the tip of an iceberg of corruption and crime that extended far beyond the world of architecture. Now she was faced with an even more difficult choice. It was not just a matter of accepting or refusing the project. It was a matter of exposing the truth and facing the consequences, or remaining silent and being complicit in something that went against everything I believed in. Anna knew that whatever her decision, her life would never be the same. Exposing the truth could put her in real danger, threatening not only her career, but potentially her own life. To be silent would mean betraying your conscience and your commitment to God. As night fell over the city, Anna remained in her office, her eyes fixed on the skyline she loved so much, but which now seemed to hide dark secrets in every shadow between the buildings. She knew she was about to embark on the most challenging journey of her life, one that would test her faith, her courage, and her integrity like never before. What will Anna do in the face of this crucial crossroads? Will she have the courage to stand up to the dark forces that lurk behind the seemingly glamorous project? And what price will she have to pay for her decision? Don't miss the next video. In this exciting series, where we'll discover how Anna will navigate these turbulent waters, facing unimaginable dangers and discovering the true meaning of putting her faith into action. Anna's journey is far from over, and the challenges she will face will test not only her faith but also her own life. Click on the video that is appearing on the final screen right now and get ready for an adventure of faith, courage, and redemption that will stir your heart and challenge your own walk with God. Will the light of Christ shine even in the deepest shadows? Find out in the next episode of Jesus at the Center, Anna's Journey.